What's up, strong friends? Today is day 4, December Daily Doses. We're going to go over the standing rear lunge, the push-up, and the hip lift. These exercises are pretty simple and by themselves can be highly effective, and pairing them up can be even more effective to create sort of a cardiovascular effect. Doesn't take a whole lot of time to do them, and you can do them almost anywhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you the rear lunge, we're going to show you the push-up, we're going to show you the hip lift, and we're going to give you kind of a guide, just like the other days, of a rep range you can use them. And just like the exercises from the other workouts, you can pair those up into this workout if you want more. We're just building and layering on top, so we kind of build this nice base that we can play around with and always have go-to stuff to kind of move our body around and be happy. So here we go. Okay, first thing we're going to do is a standing rear lunge. Really simple. We're going to stand in place, feet underneath our hips. We're going to take a knee back, barely touch the ground, come back up. What we're looking for is when we lunge back, this knee stays over this toe, it comes back forward. The rear knee is going to touch the ground, but it's just going to kind of graze and then come up. Normally we're pushing on a bubble, but we don't want to break the bubble. The other thing is, when we look at our alignment, when we're standing, we don't want to lunge on a line. We want to pretend that line is in between our feet. So just for demonstration purposes only, let's just say we have a foam roller or a broomstick or a mop or anything that we can, has a physical line. It'll give us a little bit of feedback if we're crossing. So let's just say you step back and you step on it, we know that we're too narrow. I want to step out, down, up, down, up. I also want to make sure that the rear knee doesn't collapse in. So if I go back down and I see this knee fall in, right, then I need to move a little bit slower or don't go so low. I want that rear knee, as it goes down, to be pointing straight down, not pointing in or in. The other piece is we want to make sure that when we take that lunge back, that rear knee is directly under our hip, not behind our hip, okay? So we can stop, feet together, underneath our hip, stay nice and tall. The goal of the exercise is not to see how far we can get my upper body to the ground, right? That's not the point of the exercise. The point is to move my hips vertically up and down by using my quads. The rear leg is a kickstand, so when I go back, I'm pushing my body into my forward foot and back up. We're going to start with anywhere from 5 to 15 per leg in an alternate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I say it's a set of 20, it's 10 per leg. Next exercise we're going to do is we're going to do hip lifts off the ground. I just want you to make sure that when you're doing the hip lift, you're using your glutes, not your back. We'll show you a couple cues to help you get that motion correct. Just think rib down to hip, just like we practice in the hollow hold, and then maintain that tension on your abs while you're hip lifting. So we'll step back on the ground, push your shoulder blades into the ground. Your feet are about a little bit wider than your hips. I'm going to squeeze my abs first, so I'm going to hold my abs, and then I'm going to squeeze my glutes to get to the top of the hip lift, and then I'm going to go down. Squeeze the hips, and down. You'll see that as my hips lower, my ribs come with the weight of my body so that I'm not just lowering my back into this funky hyperextension flexion of the lower back. So I'm going to keep my abs on, heels up, down. Squeeze the hips up, down. Squeeze the hips up, and down. One thing you can do to make sure that you're using your glutes is to keep your toes pointed in the air. And when you push through your heels, you're less likely to kind of titter-totter off the front or rear part of your foot using your quads. So toes in the air, dig the heels in, abs on, and then push your hips up towards the ceiling. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go with the push-up. Pretty simple stuff with the push-up. Just a couple pointers we can think about is that when our hands are up, say that you're the ground, right? And I'm pushing or I'm pulling towards you as the push-up. my thumbs need to be in line with my chest, not in line with my head. So as I go down, right, when I go down, that my thumbs are in line with my chest. I'll show you from the side. So if this is the ground, right, I'm going towards my chest. I'm not putting my hands on the ground, bringing them towards my head or towards my shoulder. I want them in line with my body, horizontal. The other thing you want to think about is where the hands are. If you're the ground, I want my hands pointed out away. When you're looking at my elbows, I'm pointing the inside the elbows away from my body. Let's go ahead and do a couple. We'll scoot back, get in the frame. So from heads on, find the hands, point the elbows away, on your toes, good plank, lower to control, come back up. Okay? We don't have to go all the way down if that's going to sacrifice position. So if I go all the way down and my shoulder shoots forward, then I'm going too low. I just want to go as far as I can control, keeping the shoulder back and then pressing out of that position. The bottom of the push-up is where you can control it, not the ground. Second thing about that is, if you only go halfway down and you know you can go lower, but it just is hard, well then go lower, right? But I just want you to make sure you can get control. If you get to that point where you feel like you have to compensate, right? You get down, you have to do all sorts of things to get yourself out of the push-up, that's too low of a push-up. What we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot for 10 reps. If you cannot do a full push-up on your toes, I don't want you doing them on your knees. I want you finding something that you can elevate your body. I want you to maintain the integrity of a plank while you're doing your push-up. So find a bench or something that's adjustable, like a rack or table or boxes or curbs or stairs, whatever it is that you can still keep that alignment and try to get towards that goal range. Now, if you can't do 10, that's fine. Just do what you can own. So 3 to 5 reps, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, somewhere between 3 to 15 reps is good. And without really me knowing your individual ability, I can't just say do 10. We'll try to get as close to 10 as possible, but don't be too concerned about that number. If you get to 7, that's great. Just get to 7 and note it and be like, cool, I got to 7. That's awesome. I'm excited about that. And then maybe later on, cool, I did 8, then I did 10. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Let's just shoot for 10. All right? Hip lifts are next. Okay, there's day 4. We have alternate rear lunges, we have push-ups, and we have hip lifts. What we're going to try for is 3 to 10 rounds of 10 to 20 rear lunges, 5 to 15 push-ups, and then 15 to 20 hip lifts. You can rest as much as you want to in between the rounds or in between the exercises, but remember to move with intent over intensity and quality before quantity. See you guys tomorrow.